Okay, hey, this video is on request. Mr. Tripp Anglo-Baptist Facebooked me and asked that, sorry, I'm just trying to, nudge this up, it's very tight. Very tight. Tripp asked me to do a quick video about how some of my audio techniques, and I'm happy to oblige. The one thing that I wanted to, the first thing I wanted to say was kind of just give a little background, and just so you know, like, where I'm coming from as a person to be dispensing advice on how to shoot good audio. I still feel like that needs to go up some more. Pardon me. Should probably do all of this beforehand. And I'm using a cheap tabletop tripod, which makes it even worse. There we go. That kind of works a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll edit all of that out. Or maybe not. Audio. Background. Essentially, I've been doing this for a really long time, and one of the interesting things is that when I was really young, I refused to shoot dialogue, anything with audio, and would just always do silent films because I knew I didn't have the tools I needed to shoot good audio, to record good audio, so I just didn't do it. So that's, I mean, that's how committed I am to, and that's how important good audio is to me. Growing up, I wouldn't shoot. I shot silent films. That's where part of that love affair came from in the first place. So these days, along with YouTube and all the videos I do, the productions I do, I also work as a marketing assistant for a local automotive group, and I produce their commercials for them. I produce their commercials for them. Yes, you heard that right. I may only be a marketing assistant, but I produce the commercials. Not bitter at all. So yes, I produce television quality commercials and other internet content for this company. So I got the resume, all right. I'm not really sure what Tripp's situation was that he was asking for this, but the point that I made first is that I think audio is a little bit like dark video. You know, video with not enough light in it. You know, there's only so much you can do on the editing side and post-processing it. And the trick really is just record good video, light with plenty of light to begin with. The same applies to audio. Just record good audio to begin with, because on the back end when you're editing, I do this all the time. You know, I'll have a hum that I want to reduce, or when there's two different shots and I'm trying to, you know, match them. There's a little bit of science to manipulating your levels. There's EQ and there's hum reduction and there's some audio filters and stuff, but there's very little science to it. It's more of an art. You tweak and do all of these things, and what works for this audio clip over here probably is not going to work for this audio clip over here. And once you have something down for one video, the next time you come back to a new project and you have another problem, it's going to be a completely different solution that you kind of have to fabricate. So trying, and then at the end of all of that editing, chances are it's only moderately better to begin with. So when it comes to recording good audio, which is what this is all about, it's very, I mean, don't think, oh, I can fix it in posts. The goal is to record good audio right from the start. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here today, and kind of how to do a little bit of that. Obviously on YouTube, the easiest thing to do is turn on your webcam and just talk and record with a built-in mic on your computer. And first off, worst idea ever. Problem is the internal mic on your computer is built into your computer. Depending on where it's at, you know, your computer makes noise, and the closer that microphone and this is not representative of your built-in little pinhole mic in your computer, but for illustrative purposes, the closer your microphone is to a sound source, obviously the louder that sound source is going to be. So using the built-in mic on your computer is probably one of the worst things you could ever do if you want to produce good audio, unless that's your only option and you can literally be this close to it. Don't overwhelm it, because once you go like that, that's going to like clip it and buzzy, and it's going to sound, but if you can be this close to it, what happens is the microphone, the computer, recognizes how close you are. It's going to cut out all of the other ambient noise and just focus on your voice when you are that close to it. But even then, I still think that the built-in microphone on your computer, worst idea ever. Best thing to do if you're working with your computer is to get an external microphone of some sort. This is a $100 microphone. It's a USB. I recommend it. It's M Audio, but I don't think they make it anymore. But it's you know, get something that looks like this. You're going to be in good shape. And obviously the point is, you have that external microphone. You can pull it away from the computer. You know, so all that internal noise that's being generated by the computer, you're going to be pulling it away from it. It's much better quality microphone. It's going to record much better audio. Edit magic. Or not. This is going to be embarrassing if there is no edits. Pardon the cat here. And if you have an external microphone, what you can do is put together something like this, which, oh man, they're doing a number on it too. Shredding this. Oh my god, I have not looked into this. Look at the cats. Have shredded. They enjoy this quite a lot. Okay, again, this is something very similar to what I have at the office. It is a box that I have constructed and then lined with studio foam, and you can use any kind of foam for this. You can buy a small package of this online. It's not that expensive, and a little bit goes a long way. Or if you know anybody pulling up their carpet, you know, the padding underneath, if it's not too gross and grody, that works. Go to a fabric store, you can get some foam there, Sam Ash or something, they'll have the professional stuff in stock, and basically you're creating a mini sound booth. And this is the theory. You put, and it's more than a theory because I know it works, you put the microphone inside the booth. That removes it from the ambient noise around your room. So rather, instead of just isolating the speaker, the source of the audio from all the ambient noise, you're just isolating the microphone, and that creates such a beautiful effect, such a beautiful, clean. You still need to be in a quiet room, but this will eliminate all that ambient noise inside a room. And then if you want to get really fancy with it, you get a little webcam or a proper camera, and if you have a big enough box, put that, or cut a hole in it to shoot through it. So that could be one way of doing it, to shoot the video as well. So that's just a little broader audio trick with the sound booth box. Probably better for voiceover work. Now another thing that I use, and I don't have all of this here, but I do. There's a very affordable wireless mic setup at you can find on Amazon. Any of these things you can get on Amazon, obviously. There is an affordable wireless mic setup. I think it's from Asden, and it's a two-piece setup. One plugs into your camera. That's the receiver, and then the other one is the actual mic. Very similar to this, but with out all the wires. And I use that for work and for shooting testimonials. What I do is I put the people in the green screen, portable green screen studio, mic them up, and I record audio that way. That's not a great way to do it. The audio is a bit, the audio that I end up capturing is a bit dead. It's also in mono, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I want to finish up talking about your different options for recording audio. What I'm shooting with right now is the Canon SX40, it doesn't have audio input. Otherwise, I would be using one of these things, something. So what I'm doing is just using the built-in audio, but I'm also only about 2 feet from the camera. So again, proximity plays a big deal. The closer you can be to your microphone, the better your audio is going to sound. Now, when I get to more professional stuff with this camera, what I've done is I've gotten a little threaded mount hot shoe adapter, and that is going to screw into that. And this is a Zoom H1 audio recorder. Now, with the threaded mount, what's going to happen is I can mount this right on top of my camera, and it's going to act as a little bit of a shotgun mic. Beyond that, I can get a little more fancy, and that's why I have this one over here. I can use, and I've used this for Crumbine's Brain, I've used this for the Horberong Show. A little lapel mic like this, again, is a good little tool to have in your kit. This will plug in to the Zoom recorder. It's actually this one over here. And then, again, the audio gets recorded into this, and then later I will sync this audio up with the video and then edit. That's the downside with the camera, but if you have a camera with a line in, that's what the other port was. You could actually run the audio into this through the built-in microphone, built-in input, or through an external microphone, and then run it directly out. That's the line out right there. Run it directly out into your camera. So that way you're recording the video and audio directly to the same file. So that's a another good tool to have, especially if you are going to mount this on something. If you're going to use it in your hand, it has a very... I think the microphone's over here. It's a very loud case, and because of the microphone situation, it picks up every little fuss and creak and squeak. Okay, so those are the main tools. You have your built-in audio from the computer or your built-in audio on a camera, in which case the closer you are, the better. And I'll explain that in just a second. You have external microphones, you have lapel mics, or you have secondary recorders. Other tricks you could use, if you have an iPhone or iPod or other handheld recorder, another camera. I did this once with a video production years ago. We shot with 2 cameras. One was in the DP's hand as he moved around and shot the whole thing, and the other one was between the 2 actors, hidden between the 2 actors, just to act as a microphone. So you could take your iPhone, if you're not shooting on it, or whatever, iPod or whatever, turn on the voice recorder and stick it in your pocket and record your audio that way, just to get that secondary clean audio. And that proximity with your mouth is going to pick up some pretty good audio, actually. And then you also have isolation and booths like this, which play into your the next critical item, which is that ambient noise. You can have all the tools in the world, but if you don't have a clean audio, a clean environment, audio-wise to record in, it's just going to sound bad. You're going to have, this is, when whatever you're shooting, you have to be you sort of have to listening to the ambient noises and be cognizant of where you're shooting. So I'm just going to look around here and start pointing out. I mean, it's very quiet, relatively quiet right now. But the first thing, obviously, are air conditioners. I don't know where you are at necessarily in the world, or heaters, I guess, central AC, or heaters, any of those things. Once those things start rumbling, that's a huge source of ambient noise. And a big deal is when it starts and then it stops, and then you have 2 shots back to back, and all of a sudden 2 shots with each one with the ambient, with the AC on and then the AC off, that cuts from one to another, and then you can hear that obvious difference. AC is one. What I usually do when I'm shooting Crumbine's Brain, I crank it way down beforehand, so that AC starts running and just runs continuously. What you want to do is make sure that whatever that ambient noise is, it's consistent. A room has a natural sound to it. That AC can be part of that natural sound, and if you're shooting with some decent tools and you're close enough to the mic, sometimes, you know, even the heavy sound of an AC, you know, won't be too problematic. So you have your ambient noise of the AC, and the point is, you know, be consistent with it. Either turn it all the way down so it stays on, or turn it all the way up so it turns off and won't come on while you're recording. Appliances, those are another major source. The refrigerator will cycle on and off. Don't run the dishwasher, don't run the microwave, you know, things like that. If you have a spouse or significant other that's running around, tell them to wait, because that stuff will really mess up your sound. If you're close to the road, if you have a window open, close it. Point yourself away from the road noise. If you absolutely have to have perfect sound, shoot in a closet. This was a really good tip I saw online. Put yourself in a closet, because you've got all of these clothes around you that's going to absorb all the sound. You pull a curtain or something or close your door, and all of a sudden you're just in this perfect sound booth that's right there in your house. Road noise, ceiling fans, those can be a problem as well. So really it's just about being cognizant of the natural sound of the natural ambient sound, and then, you know, what else is being, what else might interfere and create that, and do your best to, you know, work around that. My other tip about ambient noise, and I find this particularly helpful when you're doing when you have a video with all these different angles and takes and cuts and whatnot, is to get a bed of just ambient noise, of that room's ambient noise. You get a bed of that, or you have a little clip of that you use, that you already shot, and then you can use that to patch the audio. Because again, you'll cut from one shot to another, and that ambient noise, there's a hum in one and not in the other. Well, instead of spending all of that time trying to get rid of the hum in one, just put the hum in to the other. You add that hum, that ambient background to the other, which is a lot easier to do in the first place. And once there's that seamless transition from one shot to another, you won't even notice the hum. So that's a good way to kind of patch that. Just have some pre-recorded sounds of the natural sound of the room to patch things. Now, as far as trip goes, this is the last thing I want to cover on this very long video. Depending on how you're shooting, I know in my case, when I shoot with a microphone, with a lapel mic, this only records in mono, and I know Trip, he releases his videos as with mono. He doesn't bother mixing it down. I don't know if he knows how to, or if he rather if he doesn't know how to, or if he just prefers to leave it in mono. But at work, what I discovered was that I'm recording audio in mono, but it's also, the camera's also recording like a very low frequency static on the second track. So it's actually better to record in stereo, number one, and then if you do record in mono, split it. What I have to do, and I use Final Cut Pro X. I highly recommend using a program that lets you get in and deal with actually manipulate these tracks. But what I have to do is I go in and disable or delete the dead track, and there is a noticeable decrease in that background hum. So yeah, those are my audio pointers, and I hope that you found them helpful.